For this week's topic video, I wanted to get into something that really has been in the back of my mind that I want to talk about, and that is, if you read the title, the quality of Neca figures. Neca has been around for a long time, produced a lot of quality figures, but also a lot of statues. And I want to go over the quality of them using some examples. Examples of reusing parts that could be better, an example of new sculpts that make it better, and examples of in between. And where's Neca's quality at, and can they improve, or are they stuck where they're at? Should they remain where they're at? So let's jump into it. So as you see before you, we have two figures. These two are probably the best, some of the best figures I own in my collection. This, of course, the original superheroes, the Phantom. I do not have Flash Gordon or Ming. I need to get those two. And then this Flash Gordon is from the Target exclusive, where he came with Ming. I did not get Ming yet. I need to get those two. I need to get the Flash Gordon Ming and go with this one. I need to get Ming goes with Flash Gordon. But I like these two. They're so simple and so basic with the way they look and the way they are. Not too much paint. Mostly it is all sculpted plastic parts put together, which is fine. And some figures falling over. But that's not a problem. Sometimes simple can be the best thing. And I like that. I like how they decide to go with skin tone plastic and paint each part. Like Flash Gordon's hair, the hood piece for the Phantom's outfit. I like that. Simple yet effective. But as you can see as well, they reuse the same buck. So all the body part is reused, just all with different details, sculpted parts of paint, and different colors. So that's one example of reuse. Then we'll get into more reuse, like for example the Ultimate RoboCop, the T-800 from the Terminator Technor, probably my favorite Terminator figures. I got a little fuzz right there. And then you got one of the Predators. This is from Predator 2, the City Hunter. And why did I bring these three here? I brought them in here because each one of these, all three of these, all have been reused, time and time again. Let's start with Terminator. Terminator, from the waist up, was first done in statue form where the legs were pre-posed back in the day. You had some accessories, but you didn't really have much. Like everything from the waist up was articulated, but the legs were pre-posed. Then they reissue these figures and make them ultimates where the legs do have articulation, which is a nice add-on. But what are my issues with this? It could have had better articulation in the abs. If it would have had an ab crunch or something, that would have made it better. But again, reusing parts to get something out. City Hunter, Predators. These guys always come with a lot of stuff. I have from the new Prey movie. It's not here though. That actually made my top figure of 2023. But these Predators all reuse the same body and reuse a lot of parts. Maybe a different head, maybe a different helmet design, some different gear, different skin tone, but most of them are usually consistent of being exactly the same look, just different, and different color variants. Which a lot of that is when it comes to NECA figures, it's just always variants of different colors or repaints. And yeah, that's the name of the game when you're in a big company. You want to use as many molds as you can to get product out. But, and I'm not saying they're not cheap, but sometimes it's good to change things and make them all different, unique. And sure, the littlest things make them stand out differently, but still. Then we get to this RoboCop. Many people in my review of this figure last year were disappointed. I was disappointed because I thought this was a chance, like many others, for them to give us a RoboCop with better articulation. Because if we take a look at another figure, which I'll bring in, they gave him a lot of articulation range, and I'll show you what that figure is in a minute, and this is just a reuse from head to toe. It's a complete reuse. Now granted, the Murphy head is new, But everything else is just the exact same figure. I have the original holster action RoboCop figure. So this is nothing really new here. Like, this is high as his arms go out because they're hindered by the sculpt and nothing really is open. I mean, new head's great. Cannon, a blast effect for the gun, sure. But this was a chance for them to add more articulation to this figure and make it feel more ultimate. That's the difference between the Terminator. It's reused as well, sure, but they gave him 2 extra heads, extra accessories, alternate hand, and then posable legs. I mean, they gave him more, upgraded this one to be better, while this one is still remaining the same, which is very, very cheap. This should have not been 30-something bucks. It shouldn't have been. But, and of course the Predator, same thing. But now let's get into some figures that were new. Now Lothar here, in my top 5 NECA figures, made the number 1, because that's just how awesome an action figure it is. And granted, there are shared parts. The legs and the arms are all reuse with sculpted add-on parts to it to make it different. And again, that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes adding stuff can just make a figure, different from everybody else. But this is not bad reuse. This is reuse, not bad, unlike the RoboCop. So that one's not bad. Then we get this guy. The man himself, Bruce Campbell, from the first Evil Dead movie. I have all 3 of them. Evil Dead 1 and 2, and then of course that series, Ash vs. Evil Dead. This looks like a young Bruce Campbell. It's a very nice human standard body. It poses very well. It comes with really good alternate heads. It comes with a lot of good accessories that you need to recreate scenes from the movie. This is really good. Even though, yes, again, we're seeing that they're not really adding articulation in that torso, it's still got really good range of articulation everywhere else. Then we get into the final figure, which made my top 10 of last year, and that's this Raphael. A full, from head to toe, new sculpted figure with a lot of accessories, a lot of sculpted parts and paint that really just gives it that shelf presence you need to really stand out. And I'm also collecting this last Ronin line. But this was just an incredible figure, and it moves buttery smooth. You take Terminator, you take the RoboCop, you take the Predator. Some of those joints are tight, and they shouldn't be tight. Well, this Raphael is buttery smooth. There is no issues with his articulation. He moves freely. Well, something like RoboCop or Terminator were hindered, like RoboCop. His joints are hindered because it's an old sculpt. It's an old mold. Terminator, same thing. Some joints are hindered. But this Raphael is what NECA should be doing. They need to be adding this kind of articulation scheme and quality into all their figures. Now, I get it. They can't do that, but if they tried, and actually tried with figures to do that, they would be a much better business. And that's that. They would be. Absolutely. No doubt about it. And again, there's way more figures you could probably use that could say, well, NECA is great. NECA is awesome. If you collect NECA figures, awesome. I mean, I do too. I have my fair share of them. But NECA does have a lot of flops. And we also know they have a lot of quality control issues with figures breaking. Here are some images that I found. So NECA does not really get a pass with some of their price choices and, of course, quality control issues. But what am I really meaning here as I'm trying to get all these figures together in one shot? I'm meaning that NECA can be a great company if they so choose. But it's just a lot of... It's mainly just so much, quality control problems and a lot of reuse, which, again, reuse is the name of the game when it comes to toy companies. You have to do reuse, otherwise you cannot make anything and cannot make a profit, because you have to reuse parts. And Ash is in the background just hiding. Let me move him out of the way. Let me bring him up more. I apologize. But, reuse, again, is the name of the game, and it's how reuse is done, because It's just the way it is. Every company does reuse. But as an example from these figures, what is reuse, what they should not do, and what they should do, and how they can improve are ways that we can see demonstrated from these figures themselves. Now, what do I think? I think NECA, if they take the examples that they use, like from the Lothar, like from the Raphael especially, and add that kind of, sculpting attention to detail and articulation wise, they could make a lot of money and a lot of people happy, and more people buy their product. And if they don't cheat people out as well with play sets and everything else, then they really would turn people, more people would definitely be singing their praises. But recently, with everything that's happened with NECA, everything else, I don't know where they're going to go from here. But they really need to try to get back on track, and they need to take the examples they leave with figures like this and stuff they do to say, hey, we can do better, we can improve, we can be a great company if we actually put the work in and not just half it, just be halfway there and half cooked or whatever. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. Let me know down in the comment section below, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you disagree? Again, let me know down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share all that good stuff. And I apologize for the rambling, everybody. But, as always, take care.
Plastic Man, the one, the original Elastic Man. Always in great shape for the shape he's in, the fantastic Plastic Man.